good, everyone, and welcome to Weekday Wagers right here on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. My name is Mark Wallace. I am so glad that you are able to join us here today because if you're not catching this live, I'm telling you, you're already behind. We had a heck of a day yesterday. Can't wait to get into that. For those of you just joining us and maybe not familiar with what our Wednesday typically looks like, listen, we have got Robby's radar. That's going to be here in about 8 minutes. I can't wait for that. We're targeting 4 guys already for the NFL this crazy weekend because we got NFL games scattered all over the place. Thursday, I think Friday or Saturday. There's 2 of them coming up, I think, on Friday or Saturday. I don't know the schedule. Why? We'll get into that in just a little bit. But I have to give a huge shout out again to our dear friend over at Sports Illustrated Betting, Mr. Peter Dewey, who, by the way, he had a heck of a time. He just absolutely enjoyed being on the show so much yesterday. And talking about that, we had a kind of a good day, 2 out of 3. That's not bad, even according to Meatloaf. Meatloaf said 2 out of 3 ain't bad. The first period under cash for us, Kelvin Johnson, DG's Church League replacement. Believe it or not, he managed to get 4 rebounds in that NBA Cup final. He cashed for us. And Jalen Brunson came up just shy of that 30 points that we needed. He was at 25 and just never really got over the hump to get him to 30. So we came up short there. But listen, it is time to bring in the one, the only, Mr. Robby Hockey himself. Robby, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, Mark. You look like you're ready for some fun times ahead. I must say, I saw what DG put in the chat. I totally agree with him. You look like you're ready to roll.
Is it Beach Spot Activate? I just saw that. Actually, this is I still can't believe it's miserable outside here in upstate New York. I'm freezing garb on, trying to figure out what I'm going to wear to the airport that is both comfortable to get to the beach and yet is going to keep me warm until I get there. So yeah, we'll get into all that later because we got some scheduling. I won't say issues, actually scheduling opportunities, and we'll cover that here shortly. But I have to ask you, were you able to catch Peter's show yesterday on the show?
Yeah, I watched you guys. Yeah, I watched you guys yesterday. That was really insightful. And yeah, Jalen Brunson just needed a little poke from a teammate. Maybe he would have got over that 29.5. If you've seen Twitter today, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Although allegedly AI, right? I mean, so we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Were you able to take in some of that game last night, or what were you watching last night?
No, as you know, my Magic, they crapped out on Saturday, so that final was not that entertaining to me. I watched a crap ton of hockey last night as I was going over Robby's radar, but there was some great hockey. It had some good hits too, so it always makes watching hockey more enjoyable when you're winning bets. But yeah, I was all strictly NHL last night.
I got to ask you because I have my own take on it. Edmonton versus Pittsburgh. We've got the goalie trade. In fact, the goalie trade is still so new that Stuart Skinner is wearing his Edmonton Oilers helmet and Tristan Jarry is wearing his Pittsburgh Penguins helmet, yet they're playing for the opposite teams. What was your takeaway? Were you able to see some of that game? And if so, what were your takeaways from that?
Yeah, I watched it from start to finish. It went about as well as I thought it would go. Like I said, I had a lot of good bets hitting that game. I wish Leon Draisaitl would learn how to score a goal again, but 4+ points, we'll take that. Skinner's not a good goalie, and I know that his teammates have love for him. They're boys. I get that. But you can't tell me that Connor McDavid didn't feel great putting some goals on his ass after he lost 2 Stanley Cup finals for him. I know that had to feel good.
Yeah, and I had that view going into this game, right? Tristan Jarry is not that good of a goalie. Yet you put a Edmonton defense in front of him that can help protect him, or more importantly, an offensive squad that can give him the goals in support. All of a sudden, he looks like he's a decent goalie. The flip of that is what we saw with Pittsburgh, who struggles defensively, struggles offensively, and Stuart Skinner gets exposed. And so I think we're going to see, I know for me going forward, where maybe you could have a little more trust in a guy like Stuart Skinner because of Edmonton, that's all gone for me. I guess is what I'm trying to say. That's all gone for me. I don't trust him anymore simply because he's got Pittsburgh in front of him now, and Pittsburgh looked horrible.
Yeah, and somebody brought it up. I can't remember. I was listening to a hockey show, and they were talking about Crosby. Does he leave Pittsburgh? Just seeing what they've done and just seeing that they're not going to win. Now, they have Dan Hemuse as their head coach. He was here in Nashville, and it's during our suck era, so he's not really even a good head coach either. I just wonder if Crosby doesn't finally decide he's leaving. I know he said he wants to be a Penguin for life, but come on, man. If you're going to keep playing, you got to play to win a cup, and you're not going to win a cup in Pittsburgh with where they're at right now.
Well, and Nate brings up a great point. Jari's a career 909 guy. If Edmonton can get that kind of save rate in the finals, they might
100%.
have just made themselves a contender simply because they got a slightly better than average goalie in place for them.
Yeah, I was thinking that last night. I was getting up to get a drink, and I was like, man, Edmonton plays Florida this year. If they play Florida this year in the Cup, just say it's another rematch. I would almost give the edge more to Edmonton just because they do have the weapons. And if you got Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, if all those guys can stay healthy, Bouchard, the supporting cast around them, maybe they make some more moves at the trade deadline too to help them out. I think they'll be back if they can do that because the problem is the West is loaded. And I think Nate said that yesterday, but you look at Colorado, you look at Dallas, now Minnesota, they're a player now. It's not going to be easy sledding in the West to get to the Stanley Cup final this year. So
do you think that's a benefit or is that detrimental to the West? Simply that there are so many great teams, right? I mean, not just good teams, great teams that getting into that playoff scenario where they're literally just beating the hell out of each other to get to the Cup finals. Does that favor the East? I guess is what I'm asking. By not having as tough a regiment and not having the number of tough teams in that conference?
I would lean that way. It depends on how many people come out healthy, whoever makes it out of the West. Because it seems like every year, like you just said, they beat each other up. Every freaking series. It's like somebody goes down important. Hell, even going all the way back to 2017 when Nashville was in it. We had guys on that we called up from AHL that was playing in a Stanley Cup final because we were that depleted going into it. So to me, the West is, I think DG put it, it's a juggernaut. The Western Conference is a juggernaut, but the problem is they eat each other alive. It's very much like an SEC in college football.
Right.
And no discredit to the East. Hell, they've won the Cup the last 2 years. I just think the West has a better talent. They just eat each other alive.
So I think the juggernaut that DG is referring to is those Anaheim Ducks, who have been on a slide lately, right? I mean, they got beat last night. They're in a tough spot again tonight going against Detroit. I think they started out really well.
They get tonight off. Last night was their second night. Detroit.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
But yeah, you're right though. They are on a slide right now. Who'd they play? They played Columbus last night and got beat, I believe, in overtime.
Yes. Yeah, and they've got Ville Husso in goal for them now. So they're fighting those injuries, right? All the way through. So, and it's starting to affect them and it's starting to rear its ugly head. It doesn't get easier for that Ducks team being in the Western Conference.
Agreed. Yeah, teams like them, teams like San Jose, they're on the up, but it's a big hill right now because the other teams are so loaded. And then you got Chicago, who to me is a non-factor now with Bedard out. It changes the whole dynamics of that team. And then last night they were beating Toronto. I was like, you got to be kidding me. It was like 2-0 going into the third. They were beating Toronto, and then Toronto came back and beat them 3-2. But that team is a completely different team because the offense runs through Bedard. And without Bedard putting up numbers and helping the offense out, that's going to leave Spencer Knight vulnerable. I think you're going to start seeing them lose more games. I actually dropped Spencer Knight in my fantasy league to pick up Jesper Wallstedt. So I don't have much faith in Chicago any longer.
By the way, that's a great get.
Yeah. Can't believe he's still there.
Well, let's see. You know what? Talking about who's still there and who's available and what we're looking at, it is that time. It's Wednesday, And that can only mean one thing. Oh, love that. And that intro is great, but I got to be honest. Look at those graphics. That's incredible.
Yeah.
First of all, AJ Brown is the Incredible Hulk. Chef's kiss. That's amazing. We're targeting AJ Brown, who's taking on the Commanders. For AJ Brown plays for Philadelphia. Why do you like AJ Brown? Because it seems to me, Rob, he's had such an up and down season. What gives you the confidence in this spot for him?
Yeah, you look at the Raiders game last week, and he didn't do a lot, but he didn't really have to do a lot. And we're going to get into that later with another guy that I'm on. But it's what he's done against Washington in his last 7 games. He averages 6 receptions, 94 receiving yards, and he's averaging a longest reception of 32.9 yards. He's also found pay dirt 7 times in those 7 games. Washington's not a good football team. Philly pretty much has the East locked up. Let's be real. Dallas does not stand a chance at catching Philly. But they still have to win these games, right? And I think Saquon Barkley has a stinger. So you may not have – if you have Saquon, you may have a limited Saquon Barkley. And I also trust A.J. Brown more than I even do Devontae Smith right now because he's averaging 5.2 receptions, almost 70 yards receiving. And he's gone over 100-plus in 3 of his last 4 games, not counting the Raiders game. So I think his props are all in play for this weekend.
All right. I like it. Let's move on to there is a definite theme going on here. I love Mike Evans as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer going against the Carolina Panthers, this is a huge game, right? This is important to both teams as far as a playoff race. Why are we targeting Evans?
It's like that Hot Ones episode with Paul Rudd where he's taking off the thing. He's like, can't believe we're here. Me either. But we got Mike, and I don't call him the Black Panther. I call him the Buck Panther Evans because he's going up against the Carolina Panthers. And, yes, they need to win this game. I think Mike, since he came back last week, one, he proved me wrong. I thought hamstring injuries are lingering. I didn't expect him to have the night that he had, but he went off in that Thursday night game. He's Baker's #1 target. I'm on all of his props. The one that scares me is the 23-plus longest reception, and it's just because of Baker's shoulder. If he's going to get there, it's going to have to be something that Mike does on his own. But I'm on his receiving yards. They're at 58. His receptions are at 5. I even sprinkled on him to score at plus 155. He has 11 touchdowns in his last 9 games when he's healthy. And he's averaging 7.1 receptions and 108 receiving yards. And he's killed the Panthers. This is against Carolina. He's absolutely owned them. So I think Mike's going to have another big game this weekend. This is going to be a dogfight. I think it will be a dogfight. It's in Carolina. I would love this more if it was in Tampa, but after the way the Bucs exited that last game and hearing Todd Bowles drop F-bomb after F-bomb about how they need to look in the mirror, figure out who they are, I won't bet against a pissed off and motivated Baker Mayfield with his #1 wide receiver.
I like it. I like that one. Now you're speaking to my heart. We're going to target Omari and Hampton of the Chargers going against your Cowboys. And I'm going to tell you what, when I realized that this game fell right in the middle of the week that I'm not going to be on the show, I was pissed. But yeah. I'm kind of glad that you're targeting Hampton here, that you like Hampton. Why do you like him, and what are you looking at on Omarion?
Yeah, this is simple. This has more to do about Dallas than it even does Omarion. They're out. Let's not get it twisted. They're out. Quinnen Williams may be out too, so their run defense is going to be down. Maybe Quinnen Williams, who, let's face it, is the anchor of that rush defense. Dallas has no chance. Their chance is Lloyd Christmas getting with Mary Swanson and Dumb and Dumber chances. There is no chance. The Chargers should control this game. Harbaugh is a big run-heavy guy, and I think L.A. comes into this one motivated. They got the big win against Kansas City. I think he just leans on Omarion in this game. I went ahead and played his 13-plus longest rush. His rushing yards was at 46.5 yesterday, which seems awfully low for a guy who is getting healthy. He's coming back from that injury. He's got a lot of work. I took his 12-plus rush attempts. I grabbed that at plus 100. He's going to run a lot in this game because LA's not going to have to do a lot to win this game. So it's simply great matchup. No Quinnen Williams. Dallas is out. I think Harbaugh goes back to his roots and he just runs the crap out of the ball. I know Vidal is there. If you're looking at Vidal props, I would take his receiving props because Dallas sucks against running backs in the passing game. But Vidal is usually the beneficiary of those instead of Hampton.
Does it scare you that the Chargers are using kind of that platoon system with their running backs, that takes away a little bit from Hampton's stats?
A little bit. But when I looked at it, he's getting like 12 plus attempts since he's healthy in every game but one. I think he had 8 in the game that he got hurt in. So it doesn't worry me too bad. And like I said, I don't think they're going to have to do much in this game. Herbert's also got his hand injury. So if they can take all the pressure off Herbert, keep him healthy, getting ready to go into the playoffs, I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Also, I know they're trying to rest guys and get them healthy for the playoffs, but Hampton still needs to get some more work in after being out for those games with the injury.
Yeah, no, I agree with that take 100%. I think that it's not necessarily rusty, right? It's that time.
Right.
It's getting into that rhythm. And for running backs, receivers, and quarterback, everybody basically on the offensive side of the ball, you need to get into that rhythm. The other thing that I say this because obviously you didn't know this, you're not a Chargers fan, you're a Cowboys fan. But who did the Chargers beat last week?
Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah.
So you know whenever that happens, when you say, "Oh yeah," and the Chargers won, you know what you're supposed to say right after that?
Bulked up, fam.
It goes like this. We talk about timing and rhythm. It goes like this. So after the Chargers win last week over the Chiefs, bolt up, fam. Then you go into it.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'll remember that the next time I put somebody from the Chargers on this list.
Or the next, yeah, because it may be a while. I mean, listen, we caught the Chiefs in a down year, so it's, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to catch Dallas in a down year too. It's a shame.
Bolt up, fam. So then we're staying in the state of Texas. We're going with Nico Collins of the Houston Texans, taking on the Raiders, who look absolutely horrible, getting shut out last week. I do have some questions. What are you targeting on Nico?
Well, right now, the only prop available for Nico is his anytime touchdown. That's at plus 110. I did grab that because I do think he finds pay dirt this weekend. But I'm going to be looking at his receiving yards, his receptions, and his longest reception. I know the Raiders, on paper, they look good against wide receiver ones, but it's because wide receivers don't have to do a lot in this matchup. Houston, however, still has a lot to play for. Phillip Rivers made the Colts look like they are still a decent contender. And then the Jaguars are tied with Houston at first in the NFC South, or the AFC South. So they're not going to come into this game and be able to sleepwalk through it. They're going to have to at least try for the first half, which I think Nico gets all of this in the first half. I think he could cash almost every ticket. He's found pay dirt 4 of his last 5 games. He's averaging 5 receptions, 82 yards, and an average long reception of 34. I just think this matchup sets up well. Woody Marks, who was on my list last week, he at least grabbed a touchdown, but he's not practicing today. Nick Chubb looks like he might be in play this weekend. So with the offense banged up, and other than Dalton Schultz, who else is C.J. Stroud going to throw to? Nico also got 1,000 yards last week. That's the 3rd straight year he's eclipsed that. And if you're into incentive narratives, he needs 459 receiving yards to get his 250,000 bonus. I'm not saying he gets 450 in this game, but I think he at least knocks out 100 of it in this game.
That's interesting because I was just going to ask you about that. We're at that time of the football season, right, where teams are already 3-2-1 Cancun on their way out. Speak specifically the Raiders going up against a team like Houston, who does have a lot to play for, but probably is not going to get a lot of resistance in this game, in the sense that they should win this one fairly easily. It's a two-folded question. One, how big are those incentives versus keeping your starters healthy for a playoff run? And how do you weigh that out? What has been your experience as you have seen that play out throughout the years?
I will say NHL players care more about their incentives than NFL players. It's almost like in the NFL, and I don't know if it's an ownership thing or what, but it seems like NFL players don't eclipse these numbers very often, not as much as like an NHL player. We got players tonight who could get their 20th goal, and I guarantee you that guy knows that he's going to get that 20th goal tonight, and it's on his mind. NFL is a little different. I don't know. I guess maybe it's the pay. I don't know what it is, but they don't get these as often as, like I said, in the NHL. But to your point, I looked at Nico last week against Arizona, who also sucks right now. He only had 3 receptions, but they were for 3 receptions for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, it didn't look as good on paper. But when he's out there and he's effective, and if they can get him going early, get a huge lead early, I think that's why I said I think all of this cashes in the first half.
Okay. And is that something maybe then for like these mismatches, is that something that you target, right? Because you figure the head coach, they're going to leave, even in a blowout situation, they're going to leave the starters in for the first half. I mean, you're not going to get seated until midway through the third or possibly the fourth quarter. Is targeting first half lines? Does that make more sense?
That could be a way to do it. And I never do that. So it's one of those things where I probably should do that more often. But that is actually an excellent way. And even especially in this matchup, I haven't looked at his first half numbers. Well, he doesn't have numbers out. Like I said, his touchdown prop was the only thing available to me. But that is definitely a way I would target this. And then with Houston, it's not like some of these teams who have a lot of guys backed up. It's not like the Bucks who have 3 or 4 guys that could fill in. They have Nico, they have Jaden Higgins, Noel, I think's the other guy, and then they got Dalton Schultz. So the arsenal's not that deep in Houston as far as who's going to be on the field. That's another reason why I think Nico could still get his in this one.
I like it. Okay. We do have a couple plays that people have given us here in the chat. Big Cheesy is dropping in the double hammer of Josh Giddey over 36.5 PRAs. First of all, I like the look, but as DG put in the chat, we love the fact that Cheesy's joining us here on YouTube and not on Twitter. Welcome to the fam, Cheese. Glad to see you, bud. Taj, who is also a overall capper over at JusticeStatSports.com. You can get all his plays. Go over to JusticeStatSports.com. Use promo code DATA100. I promise you, there's going to be a little added benefit coming here within the next couple of weeks that you will not want to miss. Promise. But more on that later to come. Taj has given us BCU over St. Louis, BCU in St. Louis to go over 157.5 at minus 110 in a little college basketball action. So I like both those plays. Actually, I do like the Giddey play, and I know that the model has the St. Louis game going to the over, so I do like that.
I was going to say, Cheesy, hit the subscribe button, and I'll wear a Sacramento Kings jersey on this show just for you.
How's that not happened?
I don't know, because it's one of my favorite players ever. The jersey I have is Jason Williams, who played at Florida.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
white chocolate.
Dude, white chocolate was awesome. Sick. He was
Loved
sick.
it.
All right. Can't wait.
All right, just for you, man. I'll try. If I can't, I will try to get it this week. If we'll go into scheduling later, but hopefully, yeah, I'll try to bring it on for you this week.
We'll get it. Gotta love this. Gotta love it. Yeah. And listen, we've got the holidays coming up. We're going to get into scheduling here in just 1 second, but especially for the holidays, you're looking for a last minute stocking stuffer. Better yet, are you hosting and you want to add that little something to make those dishes spectacular? Get yourself some of this.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Seabass, the only 5-star chef in the game. We all know sports betting is full of bad beats and tough calls, but when it comes to flavor, there's no second guessing. Bassett's Blends is the plus EV lock of every meal. We don't need a stinking model. Crafted with winning spices and bold taste, Bassett's Blends comes in 3 flavors, original, hot, and no salt, that's gonna turn chicken, steak, vegetables, any dish into a can't miss cover every night. With Bassett's Blends, there's no bad beats, no flavor fades, just guaranteed greatness. Check out the link right here where you can pick up your Bassett's Blends for a guaranteed lock every single night.
I've watched Seabass's stuff enough. I had to do a video for work yesterday and nailed it in one take. He's my hero. But tonight, we're going to the ice. And I did this play just for you, Joe, because I know you can't combine players in the same game where you're at. So I went with 2 of my favorites just to get a point tonight. First, we're going to go with Brad Marchand. He went cold for 3 games, but he's right back to where he left off. He has 3 goals and an assist in his last 2. He's absolutely crushed the Kings in his tenure. In his previous 8 games, he scored 6 goals and 5 assists against the Kings. He's facing Anton Forsberg, who he just met on November the 6th. Put up 2 goals in that one as well. So I love Brad Marchand just to get a point tonight. Then we're going to go to Mark Scheifele. And I'm kind of hating myself for doing this because he let me down the other night versus Ottawa. But we all know once he lets you down one night, he's going to come back for you the next night. He owes me. He owes you if you tailed me. So let's get another great matchup tonight against St. Louis. And let me put it this way. If Nashville can score 10-plus goals in their last 2 games against St. Louis, this Winnipeg top line can get 1 point out of this game. Mark has 5 goals and 7 assists in his last 10 overall. He has 3 goals and 7 assists in his last 10 versus St. Louis. Put both these guys together for a point at plus 134.
Love that look, especially since we might have a little bit on Brad Marchand here coming up shortly. I am taking the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Chicago Bulls. We're going to go with their first half total over 117.5. I got that at minus 115. I like this all the way up to 119.5, and I'll tell you why. Both of these teams start very, very fast. Cleveland's averaging 61.4 first half points. Chicago allows 60.8, and their combined first quarter projection is sitting around 66 to 67 points. Early scoring has been the most consistent trend for both of these sides coming into this game. Defenses, Chicago's defense especially, horrible. Their drop-off on that end has been massive. They have poor expected field goal percentage from a defensive standpoint, and they can't disrupt the offense at all. Cleveland has been giving up plenty of clean looks themselves in the opening frame. However, they tend to tighten things up in the second, third, and fourth quarter. So you got a pace, projections, everything support the over in this one. And with both teams playing in the 105 to 107 pace adjusted range and the model projecting 123 or over first half points, this sets up as a strong environment for that first half over 117. There we go. Got to get that out there. And there's only 2 games going on in the NBA, right? And I think that, well, let me just say, you did it last night, and I probably should have because I ended up losing a showdown bet against Mr. Peter Dewey, who took the Knicks to win. And I backed Derek Napoli, who is, by the way, obviously absent from the chat this afternoon.
Oh, man. Got to come in and take your lumps, man. I had to see Joe on Monday. I didn't want to do that either, but I was here.
Yes. So that's that. But we do have to get to one of the favorite segments of this show. It's called a little Light the Lamp. Do you know, Rob, yesterday we had 3 people on our Light the Lamp list actually light the lamp.
Got the fire started, huh?
Yeah. It's 3 of them. Who do we have? Mine hit McDavid.
McDavid.
Yeah.
Yep. I think DG had Tom Wilson, who is Canadian, by the way. He did not hit.
We weren't going to tell DG that. It was funny just to see him talk about how American Tom Wilson was, and just not it. So for tonight's list, we've got the big cat himself, Alex DeBrincat. We've got Kyle Connor, Sebastian, Brad Marchand, and Philip Forsberg. Do you like somebody on this list? Or are you going off the board?
I like a few of these guys on this list, especially right there in the middle. All 3 of those guys in the middle, I think, are great looks tonight. But I'm going to go with the guy that we were talking to UF Larry in one of the Discords today, and he says he hates saying Aho because it sounds like he's about to say a dirty word. So I'm going to go with Sebastian Aho against my Preds. Look, Aho's on a drought. Let's go ahead and say what it is. He hasn't scored a point, much less a goal in his last 5 games. But he's playing my Nashville Predators, and in his last 5 games against them, he has 4 goals. So I love Sebastian Aho tonight at plus 185 to get a goal in my Preds.
I like it. It's funny because, first of all, I'm taking Brad Marchand, and there's always a sense of confidence that I get in my plays, especially on these goal scoring props, when I know that Robby is on somebody that I really liked as well. I was also all over Sebastian, and I was like, you know what? It could go either way with him. He hasn't scored lately. I do like him to finally get back onto the score sheet. But I'm going with Brad Marchand for all the reasons you just put him into your point parlay. Dude absolutely thrives against the Kings. And with Anton Forsberg in goal for the Kings and not Darcy Kumper, I think we get the best version of Brad Marchand showing up on the ice tonight. Give me Bradley at plus 190.
The Rat. I love it.
The Rat. The Rat.
That's his name.
I know.
Nickname.
We do have some more plays in here coming in. Nate says Aho has 13 goals in 24 games against the Preds. Kind of supports that. And he is also going to snag Aho for an apple too. I love learning all these hockey terms. An apple. That's an assist.
That's
right?
an assist. Yeah, and I actually love Jarvis for the assist. In those games that Aho scored, I think Jarvis has like 5 straight games as well, but he has 5 straight games with an assist against Nashville. And that line was, I think it was around plus 140 for him to get an assist tonight. So I love Jarvis as well in that one.
And he's also on Kyle Connor as a goal. Yes.
Yeah.
I think is the answer that we've come up with that. Where did we get to? Oh, Mr. Kimberly White says Creighton over Xavier, not Xavier. Xavier under 152.5 at minus 110 on BetMGM. Cheesy's just dropping nuggets in here. Adrian Kempe over a point, and he gets a goal.
Cheesy is all about LA tonight. I don't know if I feel this strong. It's a big travel spot, and it's also Kumper's not in net. Not saying it won't happen. Kempe is a hell of a player. Love Adrian Kempe, but that's a tough task tonight. Not saying it won't, but that's a tough task. Let me pull up his numbers.
So he's saying Kempe's going to get a point plus a goal, or is he getting a goal as the point?
It looks like he's doing. You could probably put him in a point parlay. His point's only minus 145, which for him is really low. In his last 6 against Florida, he has 5 points in his last 6 with 2 goals and 3 assists. So I love the point prop at minus 145. I know it seems juicy, but for a player like Kempe who scores a ton, I think that's a hell of a number for him just to get a point.
Okay. I like it. I do have to ask everybody, if you could make sure you cast your vote for the People's Parlay, because last night, and look, that was on me. I got caught up in, Peter. We were trying to get as many picks out of Peter as we could. And we finally hit the over, and I got ecstatic, and I completely forgot about our People's Parlay poll. And believe it or not, the choice that won was basically the screw it, just use these 3. And it cashed. It cashed.
Usually how it goes.
Right. It was I was like, all right, I guess we're doing that. But that's on me because I didn't put out a video afterwards saying it, and the poll went up just as soon as we were getting out. So that one's on me. And because of that, I think people are going to make us do some work tonight, Rob.
Okay.
Because I'm going to keep this poll open for just another minute or two. If you haven't already voted, do that. But yes, Joe, agree with you 100%. Pete's a great guy. If you get over to Peter Dewey 2 over on Twitter, give him a follow, get all of his Sports Illustrated. He swept the board. I don't know how I feel about this. He swept his article plays again yesterday for 2 days in a row. He's like 5-0 for his article, but he ends up on our show. And, well, we all saw the red X.
Yeah, I have those nights where I put stuff on Just the Stat Sports, can go off with the pick I put here, can't hit nothing. So I get it.
Gotcha. And Miss White says Xavier going to stomp tonight, and definitely at -3 Creighton doing a rebuild. I agree with that. Creighton right now is not the Creighton of old. They're still trying to find their bearings. Patino has found a mix that works, and you can count them on winning the first conference game. All right. I like it. I know that as Joe puts out, the 2 stands for can't ever stick to just 2 bets. Joe, that was the whole point. We're like, you know what? You're the editor of Sports Illustrated Betting. You can't just show up with 1 bet. How many do you think we can get out of him? And DG's goal was to get to 5, and we did. We got 5, thank God. So
nice.
There's that. I'm going to end this poll And the chat has spoken. They're going to take Xavier on the money line tonight as the chat's portion of the parlay. Looks like I'm cutting a video right after this with both my and your play. And how funny would it be if we just include the other two legs from the poll? But we won't do that. I promise you.
Okay.
We won't do that. Maybe. No, just kidding. I won't. And listen, before we get out of here, well, first, let me ask you, Rob, what tonight is definitely on your radar that you're watching?
Survivor finale is tonight. So gonna be heavy in that. Got to take the kids to see Santa tonight. It's, Sarah's back on her feet, so we're gonna go take the kids to see Santa.
Good. Glad she's healthy.
And then with but it's all Survivor. I'm gonna try to get them in bed early so I can watch it and actually enjoy it.
All right. I too will be watching Survivor as I'm gonna pull the curtains back and full disclosure. We haven't done a full disclosure in a long time.
Hold on. Before you do full disclosure,
Yeah.
Kim put president better not interrupt. What the hell is happening in the world that I'm not aware of?
Oh,
Because
I think it's the there might be some. I don't want to call it basically he might be addressing the country on the boat attacks that are taking place off the coast of Venezuela.
Do that shit on Twitter. Don't ruin my Survivor.
Yeah.
I don't want that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He's going to ruin my Survivor, isn't he? Looks like we're going to hang out at Santa's cottage for a long time tonight. Then I'll be watching on Paramount Plus in the morning.
I was going to say, so I'm full disclosure, and it drives my wife absolutely beyond crazy. I pack last minute.
Oh, I do too.
And when I say last minute, I haven't grabbed a thing yet.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you there's going to be something that I'm going to want to bring on this trip that is in the laundry. So now I'm doing lunch. I will be up till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning getting all this last minute stuff done. And it drives her absolutely insane. So I too will be watching both Survivor and the possible interruption that is taking place. And speaking of our upcoming week, yes, today is the last time that I'm going to be on until our Sunday halftime show following
Next weekend,
following Christmas. It'll be after Christmas. I know you are trying to be available for the show tomorrow. And as it stands right now, if you are available for tomorrow's show, that's going to make tomorrow's show go 3 wide.
Yep.
Because as I understand it, DG was able to book a guest who, where did I just see it in the chat? Oh my goodness. Yes. So we have tomorrow and Friday have a special guest. So we have tomorrow's guest. I know who tomorrow's guest is. I promise you, you will not want to miss tomorrow's guest because she is going to be bringing the heat and dropping some knowledge. I am pissed that I won't be able to catch it live.
Same, because that's the whole reason is I had everything in play, Mark. I was going to be here tomorrow. We're going to have Survivor finale, but some real life stuff has come up. I've got to take care of it. I'm hoping I can at least come in and watch. If not midway through, at least try to catch the tail end of it. I'm going to try my best. But yes, she is a great get, and I think it'll be a great show tomorrow.
And the fact that we're having our first female guest Oh, yeah. I'm pissed. One, because I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of this person. Pissed there. Friday, and that's the other one, is because I'm going to be gone. We have the next 2 days. I'm pissed. They're filled with people that I truly enjoy, that I have followed, that I enjoy their stuff. The Friday guest is already confirmed that they're bringing 4 bets.
Yep.
And if I know Friday's guest the way that I do, that 4 literally means 7.
True. Yeah, I know DG told him you have to bring at least 4 bets because we can't have a 12 pack unless you bring your 4. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Listen, and it's going to. I know that the next 2 shows are going to be phenomenal, and it is. There is severe FOMO because at least on Friday's show, I'll be able to watch. I'll be in the chat. Yes, I will. I will still be in the chat on Friday's show. But tomorrow's show, I will be flying, and yes, there's that. So before we get out of here, because we'll wrap this up. As I will be gone over the holidays, I just wanted to take a quick moment. I want to thank each and every single one of you for the incredible support that you have given me, to JustAStatSports.com, and of course, obviously, the Weekday Wager Show, that you've given it to us throughout the year. And whether it was riding the highs with us, grinding out through the lows, or putting up my stupid split decision takes, you guys showed up every single day, and we worked through the edges and found the plays that made the most sense. Your trust, your commitment mean more than you could possibly ever know. This community has grown into something that I am genuinely proud of, and that's because of each and every single one of you. I appreciate you all, and I wish you and your families a absolutely very happy, healthy, and relaxing holiday season. Here's to an even bigger new year ahead of us. And with that, Rob, you and I will both be watching tomorrow's guest. I'm telling you, you do not want to miss this. Tomorrow, Thursday, 2:00 Eastern time. Be right here. The guest will not disappoint. We'll see you there. Take care.